Life has a way of pulling us in every direction, and if you don't know where you're going, any path will seem like the right one until it isn't. When you lack clarity about your purpose, every decision feels like guesswork, every setback feels like failure, and every day feels like you're running on a treadmill moving but going nowhere. It's not that you don't have the potential, it's that potential without purpose is like fuel without a destination. You burn out, not forward. Purpose gives your pain a reason, your struggles a meaning, and your efforts a direction. It's not just about setting goals, it's about aligning those goals with what truly sets your soul on fire. Finding your purpose doesn't mean you have to figure out your whole life right now. Start by asking the hard questions: what matters most to me? What do I want to contribute to this world? Your purpose doesn't have to be grand to be powerful, it just has to be yours. Without purpose, it's easy to get caught up in the noise of life, chasing what others value instead of building what fulfills you. But when you know your why, the how becomes clearer, and no obstacle will be big enough to stop you. Purpose doesn't just light the way, it gives you the strength to keep walking, even in the dark. Failure, just a word can send chills down your spine. It's like a shadow that looms over your dreams, whispering doubts in your ear. But here's the truth: failure is inevitable. It's as much a part of life as breathing, and the more you fear it, the more power it has over you. The fear of failure doesn't just hold you back, it locks you in a cage, convincing you that safety is better than risk, that standing still is better than falling down. But standing still is its own kind of failure because it keeps you from growing. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's part of the process. Every great story you've ever admired, every person you look up to, they didn't get there by skipping failure. They got there by facing it head on, learning from it, and trying again. Failure isn't what defines you, it's how you respond to it that shapes who you are. The fear itself is often worse than the failure. It exaggerates the consequences, convinces you that one misstep will ruin everything. But the reality? Failure builds resilience. It teaches lessons you can't learn any other way. It's the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. So don't let fear dictate your decisions. Let courage lead you, knowing that even if you stumble, you're still moving forward. The only real failure is never trying. It's so easy to get caught in the trap of comparison. You scroll through your phone, see someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly your own life feels small. You start measuring your worth against someone else's achievements, their possessions, their success, and their happiness. But here's the thing: comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your confidence, and your focus. When you're too busy watching someone else's journey, you lose sight of your own. No two paths are the same, and they're not meant to be. You weren't designed to live someone else's life. The blessings, the challenges, the talents you've been given, they're uniquely yours. Comparing yourself to others like running a race while constantly looking at the person in the next lane, you lose your pace, your rhythm, and eventually you lose the race altogether. Instead of focusing on others, celebrate their success and use it as inspiration, not a measurement. Remember, the only person you're competing with is the one you were yesterday. Progress isn't about being the best, it's about being better than you were before, better than you thought you could be. Your journey is yours for a reason. Trust it, embrace it. Stop comparing and start building. What's meant for you will find you, but only if you stay in your lane and keep moving forward. Discipline isn't flashy and it's rarely celebrated, but it's the foundation of everything meaningful in life. Without discipline, dreams remain just dreams, distant ideas with no structure to bring them to life. It's easy to want success, to crave change, but wanting alone doesn't move the needle. It's what you do consistently and deliberately that makes the difference. The thing about discipline is that it's not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes, it's unreliable. Discipline is what gets you up early when you'd rather sleep. It's what keeps you moving forward when the excitement fades. It's what makes you say no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's right. Discipline is the quiet force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about doing everything right every single day. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about building habits that support your goals, even when they're inconvenient. Every small act of discipline builds momentum, and momentum creates progress. Ignoring discipline might feel comfortable in the moment, but over time it costs you more than you can imagine. It steals your potential, your growth, and the life you could have lived. Embrace discipline not as a punishment, but as a tool that carves out the best version of yourself, one choice at a time. The words you speak to yourself hold more power than anything anyone else could ever say. Negative self-talk isn't just a habit, it's a poison. Seeps into your thoughts, shapes your beliefs, and convinces you that you're less than what you truly are. Over time, it becomes a soundtrack playing on repeat in your mind, telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, that you're destined to fail. But here's the truth, those words aren't facts, they're fears disguised as reality. The way you talk to yourself sets the tone for everything else in your life. If you constantly tear yourself down, how can you expect to rise? If you don't believe in your own abilities, how can anyone else? Your mind listens to what you tell it, and it will create a life that aligns with those words, good or bad. But you can change the narrative. Start by recognizing when that negative voice creeps in. Catch it, challenge it, replace it with words that uplift and empower. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love, because you deserve that same kindness and encouragement. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are capable, you are growing, and you are enough. The journey to silencing negative self-talk isn't about never doubting yourself again. It's about refusing to let those doubts define you. It's about choosing to believe in your worth, even on the days when it feels hard. Speak life into your own soul, because the words you feed yourself today will become the reality you live tomorrow. Taking responsibility isn't always easy. It can feel heavy, uncomfortable, even overwhelming at times. But avoiding it doesn't make life lighter, it makes it harder. When you refuse to own your choices, your actions, or even your mistakes, you hand over control of your life. You become a passenger instead of the driver, blaming circumstances, people, or the past for where you are. But here's the truth, real change begins when you take responsibility, not just for your successes, but for your failures too. Avoiding responsibility may feel safe in the moment, but it comes at a cost. It stunts your growth and keeps you stuck in the same patterns. When you shift blame or ignore your role in a situation, you miss the opportunity to learn, to grow stronger, to do better next time. Responsibility isn't about shame or guilt, it's about empowerment. It's about saying, this is my life and I have the power to shape it. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you control everything, it means you control how you respond. It's about owning your choices, even the ones that didn't go as planned, and using them as stepping stones to a better future. It's about being honest with yourself, recognizing where you fell short, and having the courage to do the work to improve. Growth doesn't happen without accountability, and accountability starts with you. When you take responsibility, you take back your power. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things or for the perfect circumstances to align. You start building the life you want, one decision at a time. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's the key to freedom. Change is unsettling. It pulls you out of what's familiar and drops you into the unknown. It challenges the routines you've built, the comfort you've found, and the predictability you rely on. That fear, the fear of stepping into something new, can be paralyzing. It whispers all the what ifs into your ear. What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I lose what I already have? But here's the truth, staying the same comes with its own set of risks. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, and comfort zones, as safe as they feel, can quickly become cages. Fear of change often stems from a desire to control outcomes, to guarantee success before taking the leap. But life doesn't work that way. The most meaningful growth comes from walking through uncertainty, trusting that you'll figure it out along the way. Change forces you to confront parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. It tests your resilience, builds your character, and reveals strengths you didn't know you had. Avoiding change might feel safer, but over time it can lead to stagnation, a sense of being stuck, even when everything around you seems fine. The irony is that the very change you fear is often the thing that will bring you closer to the life you want. It's not about eliminating the fear, it's about moving forward despite it, knowing that the discomfort is temporary, but the growth is lasting. You don't have to see the whole path before you take the first step. Change isn't about having all the answers, it's about having the courage to embrace the unknown and trust that every step forward is bringing you closer to something better. Fear may come along for the ride, but it doesn't get to drive. Life's struggles often feel like a storm, unpredictable, overwhelming, and relentless, but every storm has a purpose. It clears the way for something new to grow. The reasons we struggle within ourselves, whether it's unclear purpose, fear of failure, comparison, lack of discipline, negative self-talk, or the avoidance of responsibility and change, are not signs of weakness. They are signals pointing us toward the areas we need to grow, to heal, and to rise. You are not defined by your struggles, you are defined by how you face them. The journey to overcoming begins with awareness, recognizing the patterns that hold you back. But recognition alone isn't enough. Growth requires action. It means setting a purpose that lights a fire within you, embracing failure as a stepping stone, running your own race, committing to discipline, speaking life into yourself, owning your choices, and stepping boldly into change. The good news? You don't have to do it all at once. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a commitment to show up for yourself every day. When you take even one step in the right direction, the struggle becomes a teacher, not a burden. Each small victory builds momentum. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize the storm didn't break you, it built you. So don't be afraid to face what's inside. The struggles are part of the story, but they're not the end. They're the beginning of something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You've got everything you need within you to rise above. All that's left is the choice to start.